Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, parents always dump their kids with me at family events. My mom calls me fat and then gets angry at me for being upset. Entitled parents think I should change my haircut. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Parents always dump their kids with me at family events. Me, Sarah F. Others, family members. It seems quite a few people have similar stories, so here is mine and how I handled it. I was probably a bit of an AH at the end of it all. I never wanted to be a babysitter. But somehow, that's what I always ended up being at every family gathering. It didn't matter if I barely knew the kids or their parents, they would always find a way to dump them on me and disappear. It started when I was 14 and continued until I was in my 30s. I had moved away from my extended family when I was 5, so I didn't see them very often. But whenever there was a birthday, a wedding, or a holiday, they would invite me and my parents to join them. And that's when the trouble began. The first time it happened, I was sitting at a table with my cousin and his wife, who had just had a baby. They seemed nice enough, but as soon as they finished their food, they handed me the baby and said they were going to get some drinks. They didn't ask me if I wanted to hold him or if I knew how to take care of him. They just assumed I would be happy to do it. I wasn't. I had never held a baby before, and I had no idea what to do with him. He was tiny and fragile, and he smelled like milk and diapers. He started crying after a few minutes, and I panicked. I tried to rock him, to sing to him, to make funny faces at him. Nothing worked. He just cried louder and louder, attracting the attention of everyone in the room. I looked around for his parents, hoping they would come back and rescue me. But they were nowhere to be seen. They had left me alone with their child, without a word of explanation or apology. I felt angry and betrayed. How could they do this to me? This happened many times over the years until I had enough. The last time it happened, when I was now in my 30s, at a party and gathering with my husband's family. I decided to take matters into my own hands. Once again, parents came over to introduce themselves and left their baby with me, even though I clearly told them that I was uncomfortable with them doing so. But it would only be for a minute. 10 minutes pass, 30 minutes pass, as the hour mark approaches and the baby is getting very fussy. I got up from the table, carrying the baby with me, and walked towards the bar where I had last seen them. I pushed my way through the crowd of people, ignoring their stares and comments. I finally spotted them, laughing and chatting with some other relatives with their glasses of wine in hand. They looked relaxed and happy, oblivious to my plight. I marched up to them and thrust the baby into their arms. "Here," I said. "Take your kid back." They looked at me with surprise and annoyance. "What's wrong?" my sister-in-law asked. "What's wrong?" I repeated incredulously. "You left me with your baby for an hour without asking me or telling me where you were going. You expected me to babysit him while you had fun. That's what's wrong." They exchanged shocked glances. "We're sorry," her husband said. "We just wanted to catch up with everyone. We didn't think you would mind." "Well, I do mind," I said firmly. "I'm not your babysitter. I'm your sister-in-law. And I came here to enjoy myself, not to look after your kid." They mumbled some more apologies and excuses, but I didn't listen. I turned around and walked away from them, feeling proud of myself for standing up to them. I thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. The next time I saw them, they had another baby. And they tried to do the same thing again. And so did other relatives who had kids. In multiple occasions. It became a pattern. Every time there was a family event, someone would dump their kid on me and disappear. It didn't matter if they were my aunties, uncles, cousins, or in-laws. They all seemed to think that because I was an only child, and because I didn't have kids of my own, that I would love to play nanny for them. They were wrong. I hated it. I hated being treated like a free service. I hated being ignored and taken for granted. I hated being stuck with kids who were noisy, messy, demanding, and sometimes rude. I hated missing out on the fun and the conversations that everyone else was having. I hated feeling like an outsider in my own family. So I stopped going. I stopped accepting their invitations. They didn't seem to notice or care either. They never asked me why I stopped coming. They never apologized for what they did. They never tried to make it up to me. They just moved on with their lives, without me in family party/events. And so did I. Edit. It sounded in the original post that I stopped seeing family altogether. I still see them, just never in a party/family gathering situation. And they act like nothing ever happened and life goes on. I love hanging out with the family outside of the party/gathering situation, and to be fair, the kids are great fun to be around as long as I'm not expected to babysit them, which I never once said I was okay with at any point. At the end of the day, we are all still family, and I think they got the message that I am not their babysitter. They do now treat me with respect when I see them on the rare occasion for a visit, and maybe by standing up for myself to people I care about and love was that reason. So glad you got away from them. Stand up, put your hands behind your back, and they can't make you take a baby. This happens to me so many times that I got fed up. My wife thinks it's funny. Nowadays, as soon as I'm at a party, I pick up a beer. Parents don't even approach someone who carries a glass of beer. I'm a very rare drink and mostly throw it away, but keeps the people away. Why didn't you just leave the babies/toddlers/kids just like its parents did? Put it somewhere, go grab a drink and enjoy. Just following the example. They could not even blame you, as you said you don't want to keep it, and watching their kids was their duty, not yours. I would have gone up to somebody else and said, "Excuse me, sorry, I'm terrible with names and faces, but somebody handed me this baby? And I don't actually know who they were? Or what the kid's name is? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. But I'm genuinely not great with faces and with crowds." I think your family already targeted you as the person that can't say no, but I'm happy you started to stay your ground. Personally, I never had someone trying to dump babies or kids on me, but if that would be the case, I would play the "I'm absolutely unreliable" card, like, "Can you watch my kid?" Sure. They can join the other kid I'm watching. "Wait, did you see a kid here? Martin? Martin? Oh well, whatever, one less, one more." Or tell them I would love to play with the baby, throwing them on the air and catching them. Last record was 30 catches and 2 fails. Just put the baby down somewhere and get on with your life. My mom calls me fat and then gets angry at me for being upset. My mom is always pretty vocal about what she thinks of me and how I look. A lot of the time she is very nice to me and is complimentary, but it's almost like that drives her to make comments when she thinks I'm letting myself go. She's made comments in the past about me gaining weight, which I have always sort of ignored purely because I didn't believe I had. I'm a 23-year-old girl, about 5 feet 9 inches, and I weigh 9 stone 3, about 130 pounds. The other day I was out shopping with my dad and I went to pick up some biscuits, and he said I'd put those back if I were you. Your mom was telling me she thinks you've gained quite a lot of weight recently. I thought he was joking, so I laughed, but then he said he was being serious and that they both think I'm getting fat. This time it upset me so much, as I haven't been feeling particularly great about myself recently, and it's just driven me to lose my appetite completely, because now I feel like I need to lose all this weight I've apparently gained. At dinner I didn't eat anything and they both had a huge meltdown over it, yelled at me and said I was ungrateful for not eating what they'd made, but I don't understand how they can't see why their comments would make me not want to eat. I just feel so miserable. You're actually closer to being underweight according to your BMI. Your parents are being abusive. If you weighed 5 pounds less, you would be underweight. You don't need to lose any weight at all. There is actually quite a bit of weight to gain for you to actually be just little overweight, which according to BMI is you would weigh 170 pounds. Your parents are being abusive and delusional. If she really has recently gained weight, she must have been underweight before now. But all the parents see is the weight gain. They're not taking into account the fact that weight gain is sometimes a good thing. Like when you're underweight. Oh sweetie, that's awful. You sound perfectly healthy, if anything maybe a little on the light side. They are being emotionally abusive and it's downright vile of them. This is how a lot of people can end up in eating disorder territory, and if they can't see how they're hurting you, then that's on them. If there's anyone in your life you can talk with, please do. Don't let this escalate, please. You are not fat, or even remotely overweight. You are 23 and free to make your own choices. You can always go low contact with your mother if her negative attitude is bothering you. You are 23 and slim. This is abuse. I would tell them if they continue to talk to you in a cruel way, you will go contact with them. Entitled parents think I should change my haircut. So I got my haircut last week. My mom wanted me to go get it done. I'm under 18, so I'm legally not an adult, but I'm old enough to be able to make decisions about my haircut. I go to the hairdressers with my mom and she get annoyed at me when I say the haircut I wanted because she didn't want it that way. She usually likes my hair really short and I look like Charlie Brown from Snoopy when it's done her way. I wanted to cut it a bit short but keep my fringe and try to get a normal style going on my head. So she keeps talking crap about me the whole time, and when I get home, her and my dad both get mad at me and demand to get it redone. I say I'm not getting it bald more or less. They let me keep it this way but talk crap about my hair and how I'm a ridiculous looking to everyone we see. Ugh. I have 3 kids and even the youngest, 5, gets to decide what she wants to do with her hair. Do your parents try to live vicariously through you in other ways as well? You sound like a really cool parent. My parents let me have some freedom. They just hate anything that they think makes them look bad. I don't want to come on here and talk crap behind their back too much. Feels bad. I've never understood the parental issues with hair. My mom wasn't like that and I wasn't with my kids either. Too short? It will grow back. Too long? It can be cut. Color will grow out. It's just a power thing. If you are trying to grow it out to a particular style, maybe showing your parents pictures of the style you want might help. If the fringe is too short right now, it might not look right, but it takes time to grow out a buzz cut. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.